Miss, Fa- Miss Fatima taught us this relation operator, logical, bitwise, and conditional operator.
Oh, so conditional operator part is also done, is it?
Yes. And she did um, instance of operator.
Okay.
And can I share my screen?
Yeah, sure. You can go ahead.
Okay. Is it visible now? Hello?
Yeah, it's visible. Yeah.
Sir, in this, where have I gone wrong? Yesterday, I couldn't attend the class because of the network issue, and I got through the video, and this is the thing from V3 schools.
Okay.
W3 schools, okay. This program I copied, but same program is showing.
You need to remove the first line, right? This class called company.
Okay, this one I have to remove.
You just remove that. That's not removed. Is it related to your C? Okay, you have a class called company.
Yeah.
And then you have a public class which is employed, which extends company. Employee is public, should be declared in a file name employee.java. See, when you declare it as public, it should be separately in a file, like just like you have your company.java, right?
Yes.
That way you need to have it as employee.java. See, if you just remove that public from there, before the class keyword, just remove that public.
Yeah, just public.
Yeah, second line.
Okay.
And see, the error is gone. See, when you mention it as public, what it means is you can access this class outside of this particular screen, that is outside of this particular editor or this particular class.
Okay.
That is company.java. Outside of this class, when you write public, it means that you can access it from any other class or from any other project or from any other package.
Okay.
So that if you make your employee class as public, on the left side you have your classes. See here, you have relation, you have main, logical on the left side in SRC.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
So you can access that from any of these classes when you mention it as public.
Okay.
So for that reason, it was showing you an error. See here, you can read it in the console, right? Java. Here. On the right side also here.
Okay.
Yes. Class employee is public. It should be declared in a file named employee.java. Since you are creating a class inside a class. Okay. This is nested class, or you can say this as an internal class. So then you cannot mention public, protected, and those things.
Okay.
For that reason, you have to create a separate class itself. So maybe for that reason you are getting an error.
Okay, I'll just run a minute.
You just try that.
I think I'll have to remove this.
Main method not found in class company. Please define method. See, what do you want to do here? You say there is a method called check that prints success, and then there is a method called view company C. If C is an instance of employee, so you create an object of employee and you print b1.check. That says success. Public static void main string args company C is equal to new employee dot view. Main method string. Okay, just give me.
I think I have to.
You need to change the name, company.java. I think employee.java.
Is it?
See, one thing you need to make sure here, you say employee extends company. That means employee is a subclass of your class company, right?
Yes. Yes.
And then okay, company don't return something. You have check method, you have view method, and you have main. So when you run, what are you trying to run? You just right click or here in the mirror. You just right click, yeah,
Okay.
and see it's showing run employee.main, but where's your employee.main class here?
Success setups.
Hmm. Right.
Okay.
When you were running, maybe it was some other class.
Maybe yes.
Okay. So what does success mean? It means that employee is the subclass of this company.
Company. Yes.
Company class. So in that way, you see here in the main method, you are creating an object of company as new employee, right? Line number 13.
Yes.
Employee is you are creating employee object with company as
Company
your
name.
parent. That is something
Yes.
class, subclass.
Yes. Yes.
When you say employee extends company, it means if you have any methods in company, you can access those using this employee. Okay. Mm, let me see if I have my ID running.
I think this comes a little later. We have to first go on with the books.
Okay. Let me share my screen. Okay.
I'll stop sharing.
Yeah, you just stop sharing this. Screen is visible, right?
Yes.
Okay. So even I have installed my IntelliJ IDEA so that I can make as I like try running or explaining things here, and I try and execute a few piece of codes simultaneously. You can repeat this in your systems also. Okay.
Okay.
See, when I want to create a new project, what I'll do, I'll say file, I'll say new, and I'll say project. And let's say my project is Java tutorials for beginners. And I would want to create a separate workspace. What this talks about is this location, whatever piece of code I write here, whatever projects, whatever files I create, where do I want to store that? That is what it says workspace,
Oh, okay.
right? So for
Oh.
that, what I'll do, um, let me create a workspace here. Workspace should be fine. So I'll locate that here, okay? Go to work, Humanify, and workspace. Java group name will be com dot group. It's just like I own this particular project. For that reason, I'll have group. Okay, whatever
Okay.
files or projects I create, it will come under this group. I'll say com dot humanify. Okay, let this be, and then artifact is white space are not allowed here. Java dot tutorials. Okay, and then I have JDK. So let me just create the project. Only Latin characters, digits are not allowed here. Okay, let me say Java tutorial. So it will be like my package name will be com.humanify.java tutorials. Okay, let's say minimum of Java 11. Selected SDK 1.8 supports Java up to version 8 only. To choose another SDK for your project, click the project. Okay, add JDK. D. So, let's where can I put it? Program files Java JDK. ID plugin projects require a minimum Java 11. Selected SDK 1.8 supports Java up to version 8 only. Mhm. Java 11 is in. Oh, okay. You have your Java 8, but I'm using Java 11, but that's okay. That's not a problem. We can skip this. We can skip this. I have my SRC folder. I have my Java folder, and here I have my Java tutorials, right? So inside this, I will create my new class file. I'll create new file, and I'll say, so that was your company, right? Company, company.java. And what was that piece of code? I've installed some other version of IntelliJ IDEA. Is it? I mean, I'll do one thing. Mm, Online Java compiler. It says class employee is public, should be declared in a file named employee.java. Right? So for that reason, let me just remove this public keyword and we'll run this. You see the success message, right? Now, hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So what I wanted you guys to understand is, since this employee class extends company, let's suppose in this company class, we have some method. Just copy this and I'd say company class method. Okay. You see the naming convention how I am giving, right? For a method, the first letter should be small letter. The first word should have small letter. The second word, it will have capital. First letter will be capital, and then again this will be capital. This is how you need to maintain the naming convention. So inside this message, what I'll write, I belong to company class. Okay. So now what I'll do here in the main method, I'm running employee.view, right? So I can also do employee dot company class method. Since I'm extending it, I will be able to do this also, right? So let us see this. I'll try running it. Can you try that in your local server? Just create one method there and then just call that using this employee object class.
Okay.
It's taking a bit time.
Sir, I didn't get the thing. Can you show me the editor again? Compiler.
You just have to take this method and paste it inside your company class and just rename it as company class method and just print simple statement like to say that this belongs to this class. The method belongs to this class. Then just give me a second. Are you able to do that?
But I'm just doing it.
Others also you can try. I'm not sure all of present. Other
Can-
participants, you can also just try that. Just create this method. Let me share this in the chat. Okay, I've shared it in the meeting chat. And just you need to do this inside your main method later. Just do these 2 steps and try running the program. Just check what's the output.
So can I share my screen?
I've sent it in the group chat. Just say this.
Wonder what my curly braces. I don't know where
Sorry?
there's some.
Error, is it okay? I'll stop sharing. You just share your screen. I'll guide you.
Hello.
Yeah. So, unsee. You need to understand it. Where have you put this method? See, the class company, its start and end is these 2 curly braces, right? In the first line.
Yeah.
You have class, not that's the method that you're
Okay.
pointing. The first
Write
line.
it down.
The first line, that is your class company, and there is curly brace, open and close curly brace, right? Line number 1.
Yes.
So that is your class company.
Okay.
Inside those curly braces, you need to write this method. You have placed it in the wrong place. Just cut this part. Yeah, only those 3. Just cut that. And you need to paste it inside these 2 curly braces. Just point. Yeah, just hit and enter. Yeah, paste it now. The scope of this company, that is the class, the scope of any class, it will be between the open and the curly braces.
Okay.
Just remember that. And
Okay.
whatever you want to write methods, you want to declare any variables, you need to do that inside
these 2 curly braces.
Okay. So now what you do, just copy the class, the method name there. What is the method name? Company class method, right?
Yes.
Just copy that name.
After the curly braces.
Sorry.
After the curly braces.
No. Just the method name. What is the method name? That is company. Yeah, just copy that with those parentheses, open close parentheses. Yeah, copy that. And or else what you can do, hit one enter after this line number 19, employee.view. You're calling a method called view. So below that, you just write employee dot. Now just enter company, small c. Okay, just give me a minute. I have a call to attend.
Yeah.
Siddharth, just give C dot company class method. Go. Hello.
Adnan sir has taken control.
No, just. Oh, okay.
I'm so sorry, guys. I was on mute. I'm so sorry. I'm audible, right?
Yes, sir.
See, what I'm trying to do here is, in one of my previous classes, I told you about like how to use one class methods into some other class method, right? Into some other class. Here, what I'm doing, I have a class called company. In that, I have one method that which says company class method, right? And what does it print? It says I belong to the company class. Now I want to use this method or call this method in this employee class. For that, I need to do one thing. That is, first I need to extend this parent class or whatever class, whichever methods I want to use. Its class I need to extend. So when I say class employee extends company, it means employee class can access all the public provided methods of company class. So here, what I'll do in main method, I will create an object of employee. Just carefully look at the syntax, how we do. I write the class name, right? Class name. What is the variable that I want to give? It can be E or it can be anything. It can be employee. But I cannot make it as capital E. See, it will give me an error. Okay, it does not give me an error, but the we need to follow those case writing. Okay, so a variable name should not start with capital letter. So let us make it as an employee, and new employee. New employee means we are creating an object of this employee class. Now using this object, that is using employee, I can do whatever I want. Like I want to run the methods, like I have this check method. So I'll do employee dot check. And next, let me do employee dot. When I say just company, it shows me company class method. But when I see, actually this company class method, it belongs to company, right? That is company class. But how am I able to access it using this employee? In employee, I don't see any company class method, right? This is your class company.
Yes.
But I don't see any company class method here. It's present in this. Why it is allowing me to access this method of some other class? Because I'm using this extends keyword.
Extends.
Okay. So
Okay.
whenever you want to use the methods of some other class, you just need to make that as you need to extend that class. This is the way how we tell things.
Okay.
When you want to use the methods of some class, just extend it. So what I do, I say extend company. So I will be able to use that method. Now when I run this is run employee dot main. Okay. So when I run, in the first, what does it say? It's employee dot check. So it says I belong to the employee class, right? Next, second thing, when I say company class method, what does it say?
I belong to the company class.
Company class, right? So this is how you use those methods and all.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll just give the control back. Just give me 5 minutes. Like you just stop sharing the screen. I'll try installing the ID in my local also, so that I don't disturb you guys repeatedly. If anyone who isn't aware of, like, who have skipped the installation classes, you just follow this. I have my ideal IntelliJ IDEA installed, the .exe file. I double clicked on it. It will ask me for a few installation steps. Next, select the IntelliJ communication that we want to uninstall. Community version 22.2.1. Uninstall old version. Okay. So I want to do the caches and settings. This time uninstall the previous thing. See, try what is the create desktop shortcut. Add path. See, I hope you know what this means, right? Update path variable. You want to add bin folder to that path. Bin folder of this IntelliJS thing. You need to add it in the path. And once you restart, it will do that. For now, I will not restart. And then update context menu. Create associations.java. Next, install. See, the uninstall part that I did here, that was some extra step. When you do that, you won't get that, because I had installed IntelliJ some other version previously. So for that reason, I had to do that. So let this get installed. And let us see what we have to cover in today's class, okay? So now you're aware of what this instance tells you about, right? It just tells you, like, it gives a boolean, it will return. See, as and now, like, we are going ahead, we'll frequently use this word return, return, return. So that means we write a function or we write a method that sometimes returns some value. Either it can return some integer, it can return some boolean value. What does boolean mean? It can return either true or it can return false, or it can return anything. Okay, for that matter, it can return anything. So just remember that return word. So when you say this instance of employee, okay, and you call this check method, so it says if it is instance of this, then it will return either true or false. That is what we use instance operator. You don't break your head too much in that. That is okay. Next we have data types. The screen is visible, right?
Yes, sir.
So we have data types. See, data types means what type of data you want to write. You want to write integers. Okay. It's all about data, right? We store something. We store either numbers, or we store some characters, or we store some words, or we store, let it be anything. So the data types in Java are divided into two. One is primary data type and the second is non-primary data type. This is in covered yet, right? This part?
No, sir, no.
Okay. So, 1 second. Oh, it started. Hmm. So primitive data type is one thing and non-primitive data type. So data types are divided into two. So now what are primitive data types? Primitive data types are the smaller level, low level data types, you can say. So which are nothing but, here it's highlighted, right? It's written in bold. You say byte, short, int. Okay, byte is a number of zeros and ones. When see, byte is in terms of machine language. When you if you convert an int to byte, int value of 2 will be written in some sequence of zeros and ones as byte. Okay, let us see if we can try this. Okay, so you have byte, you have short, you have int to store integer values, you have long, okay, in integer itself, but some maximum value. For int you will have some range, -2 plus this value. Long, it will have more value. And then you have float. Float is you have decimal values. Double is also you can have decimal values. Character is a single character. You can store either A, B, C, D. English alphabetical characters you have, right? So that is what character type means. And Boolean is, it will store either true or false. Okay. Then these data types are further classified into 4 groups. One is integer. So in integer, what do you get in integer? You get byte, short, int, long. All these comes under integer. Relational numbers. I hope you know what relational or rational numbers are. Decimal point numbers,
Okay,
floating
decimal.
point. So in that, your float and double will come. Then characters is your character type, where you can have single character, either A, B, C, D, E, F, G, any single character only, one character. Boolean is conditional, as I said. It can be either true or it can be false. Non-primitive data types are a bit ahead. It goes a bit higher level. So those are classes, interfaces, and arrays, and you will have many more things. Okay. So non-primitive data types are classes, interfaces, in classes you will have abstract classes, and then you have arrays. We'll cover up all these in the next few classes. Now let us see what does integer types mean. As I told you, in integer we'll have byte, short, int, and long. You see the size here. For a byte, it's either 8-bit or 1 byte. I hope you all know, like 1 byte, it contains 8 bits. Bit is nothing but one, either 0 or 1. So 8 sequences of that. Okay, a sequence of 8 bits will form 1 byte. So it has a range from -27 to 27 minus 1, or -128 to 127. So it will have that. range. Integer can be from this to this range. Long can be in this range. So just remember, like, you need not memorize this. It's just for information. Byte is 8 bits. Short is double of that, 2 bytes. Integer will have how many? 4 bytes.
14.
Okay, and long will have 8 bytes. You can just remember that. Rational numbers, as I said, you have float and double. And float, you see, this is the value range, and this is plus or minus 1.79, these values. Basically, in rational numbers, float or double, you can define decimal point numbers. Just remember that as well.
Okay.
The single precision and double precision is after decimal, you can have single, only one number, as you see here, 1.4. In double precision, you can have up to 2 decimal places. It is used to hold whole numbers containing fractional parts such as 36.74 and so on. Okay, there are these two types. Characters is just one single character. So if I want to store a letter A, so that will take 2 bytes of memory. To store letter A, it will take 2 bytes of space in my memory, so that you can understand it from there. So character is just single letters, single characters. Conditional is Boolean. It can either be true or it can be false. Okay. And then now let us see a few examples of data types and variable declarations. How do we do that? Okay. I'll just explain you it here. What you can do is simultaneously, you can just declare a class. You just create a class called data types. Okay. What you can do, you can, in your SRC folder, just right click, create file, name that as data types.java. A class will be created. Inside that, just write a main method, public static void main method, and inside that you can write these things. So you have byte variable, which is 5. Short variable 20, integer variable 30, long variable 60. See, I will just show you the difference. I have declared, I am telling it as long. Okay, this one. I am telling you as it float. What did I tell you? Float and decimal are, float and double are decimal values, right? But for float, I am writing it as only integer. I am writing it only as 20. But when I print this, that is float variable, where is it? Float variable, value of float variable. You just see here in the output, it gives me 20.0. Why? Why does it give me 20.0? Because its type is float. Even though I have written it as 20, this is called type casting. TYPE, type casting. From a low level, you can cast it into high level. Okay. Float is greater than long, or float is greater than integer, right? So for float, if you declare a long or an int, it will, the system, the compiler itself, it will convert that integer into float, because of which I have written 20, but in my output, it gives me 20.0. This is called type casting. Okay, the compiler will handle this. When we go from low data types to high level data types, the system will handle it. But if I do it the other way, just copy this part and then go to the list. Declaration of variables in Java. All these things we have covered, right? Declaration and initialization, right?
Yes, sir.
You can simply ignore this. You just remember these rules for declaring variables. A variable name can consist of capital letters, lowercase letters, digits, 2 special characters such as underscore, $sign. Only these 2 special characters you can use. We can use an underscore, we can use a $sign. Apart from this, we cannot use any other special characters. You need to remember these rules where you declare variable. Why do we need to declare variable? Because we need to store some value, right? So for that thing, we need, then the first character must be a letter. Okay, this is a rule, we need to use it. The first letter cannot be a number. We'll just check this out also. Next, blank spaces cannot be used in variable names. Okay, we cannot give space. Then you have Java keywords cannot be used as variable. I have already told you this. Java keywords. Keywords means you have your keyword as class, CLAS
Yes.
class. Then you have your main, you have public, you have void, you have so many keywords. So you cannot use those keywords as your variable names. Those are like already taken. We cannot again use them for declaring variables. And variable names are case sensitive, right? Okay, so and just share this in the chat so that if you can open this link in your local and just give me the control. Okay.
Okay.
Just copy this. I'll stop sharing this. Give me control. You share your screen. In probably next class, I will have my IntelliJ IDEA setup ready so that it doesn't bother you people. Okay. And I see it's only Sudha who is like communicating. I would be happy if you others also like communicate so that I'll know you people are getting things. If you find any issues or if you find like you're not understanding things, you can just unmute yourself and you can ask your questions. Rubana and Naf9 and others. Okay. I'll just ask your control. Just give me the control. Okay, and there's something showing here. What does it? Okay, so this part is clear, right? When I say float 20, it is giving me output as 20.0.
Yes.
Now, if I say float 20.12345, what does it say? It says required
We have
type is
to
float, but
double
provided is double. If I just remove
0.1 is only one decimal it will take into.
I need to write F here. Okay.
Okay.
F means float.
Okay.
Okay. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 there. I'll just write 15.456. Okay. So now just why does it show me an error here? Can anyone tell me? It shows
Semicolon.
Semicolon.
Exactly. Right. So you need to be aware of that. Any statement I write, it should end with a semicolon, just like your full stop thing. I'll just run this. And I see float value is as 20.123.
This thing same.
456. Yeah. When you write a float, when you initialize a float value, you need to mention this character F.
Okay.
When you say double, you need not put that F letter here. You can just put in any decimal value. And Boolean, as it says, it is either true or false. If I write anything else, if I write test, say it gives error.
Yes.
Cannot resolve symbol test. When I say Boolean, it can only be true or false. Okay, if I say false, it's when I say false, it will just give me false value. Okay, so that is Boolean, and character is, as I said, only single character. I cannot pass in. If I write, see, it gives me error. Too many characters in character, literal. It will store only one character value. Okay, so this is one thing. And then, yeah, what I was telling was, I'll put in a comment here. What do I do to write a comment? I need to put 2 slashes, right? And for a multi-line comment, I need to put 1 slash R and a star and again a star.
Slash.
Slash. This is how we write a multi-line.
Okay.
Now let us talk about casting. So one is implicit casting. Okay. Second thing is explicit casting. Explicit casting. Now what here I do, I'll just write 20. Okay, but 20 is just a integer, right? So I
Yes.
am assigning integer value to float value.
Hmm.
So that is, this is called implicit casting. See, I am not doing anything. The compiler itself, it is converting the 20 to 20.0, right? See, I am
Yes, yes.
giving it as 20, but when I see in the output, it is giving me 20.0. So
20.0.
it is implicit casting. The compiler itself, the Java compiler, it will convert the low level type to high level type. So I
Smaller
declare
data type to
smaller data type to the
larger
next
data.
higher version of it. See,
Okay.
for float, all these four are lesser than float,
Float.
and for double, all these are lesser ones.
Yes.
It goes from low level to high level. So that is why we have written it in order. Now in
Okay.
double, if I write this as F, if I place F, it will not give me an error. Is it giving me an error here? No. Why?
No.
Because
It's not.
the compiler will convert this low data type to the double data type. Float, it will convert to double. But for
Okay.
float, if I write a double value, it will not take. Okay,
Yes.
so you need to
Okay.
remember this. And in integer also, I cannot put a decimal. See, it
Okay.
will show me an error. Expected integer, but provided we have provided a double value.
To be a
Right?
whole number.
But for double, if I provide integer, it will take. See,
Okay.
it is just 12. But it will give me an output as 12.0. So that is called implicit casting. The compiler itself will convert, it will cast. You see this?
Okay.
No, yes.
It will cast it. Now, what do we mean by explicit casting? Now, I want to, let's say I'm writing 20.123 here. I
Okay.
want to convert, now what is the type of this number? It is double, right?
Yes.
Yes.
You understand that? Now I
Yes.
want this double to be converted to float. So how do I do that? I will say,
Very good.
I'll open close brackets and I will copy this type and I will paste it here.
Okay, float.
Okay.
Is the error is gone, right?
Okay.
Yes, yes.
So that is called explicit casting. I
Explicit.
will have to explicitly, like the coder, the programmer will have to specify that this particular value is not double, but it is float. I'll have to write that. I'll have to tell the compiler, see, it is of type float. So only then it will take that. Now if I run, it will just take that. It will print 20.123 itself, right?
Yes.
But when we write float, it should always end with letter F. But we have not written F. Still, it is taking it as float value. That is called explicit casting. Understood?
Yes.
Yes.
Let us see here. I can do anything. I'll write int. I want it as int. And I'll write it as decimal value. I'll write 30.5. Does it give me an error?
No.
No, right?
Yes, it will.
Now what it will do?
No.
What
It
do you
will show
expect the answer?
30.
It will show
30.
30, exactly. So why the compiler, we are telling the compiler that this value 30.y is of type int. So it will convert that 30 point to integer.
30.
Now in integer, obviously we cannot have decimals. So it
Yes.
remove the decimal part and it will give me
30. Okay.
30. So where is 30? The first value, integer variable is 30. Right? So this part is clear also. This is also clear, right? implicit casting, explicit casting.
Yes.
How do you change the theme? That thing.
Hello, sir. I have a question.
Yeah.
When you said here float var, you said after decimal, you said one, it takes only one variable, like one digit, but like 20 point.
See, it was mentioned like it's single precision and multiple precision. So single precision is
In the bitwise operator we have
it
used.
should be in bitwise thing.
Okay.
But just remember this thing: when you declare float, you need to have f at the end. That means it is a float type. The number or whatever you're writing, it is float type. When you don't mention f and you're writing a decimal number, that means it is double. Okay. Let's say I want to declare a double value of pi. So what is the value of pi? Pi is 3.14 something.
3.14.
So that way I can do. I can just print the value of pi. I'll say value of pi is. Now why is it showing me an error here? Double var. Because this variable itself is not present, right?
Not there, yes.
So this the way you learn coding is you need to understand what the error means. When you get to know by looking at the error, if you know what that error means, it means you are understanding and you are learning and you are in the right direction. Okay, this is very
Okay.
important to understand the errors. By looking at the error, you need to understand what are you missing. Just like you told me, like semicolon is missing, right? So that way, when we write declare or when we initialize, when we create classes, wherever we find some errors, you just need to understand what that error means. So instead of double var, what should I write here? What is the variable
Pi.
that is holding pi? That is pi itself, right? So that will give me the value of pi as 3.14.
Okay.
The value of pi is 3.14.
3.4.
Right? So this is done. Sudha, can you just open up that website that I shared you the link, right? Just open that in one of your browsers.
I'll go back.
You can just
What should I be doing now?
okay. Screen in
Oh, it is there.
declare. Okay, you're sharing.
So you already have control on screen actually.
Okay, I'm controlling your screen, but okay, no worries. You just stop sharing. Whenever we want to come back to code, I'll just come back here.
Okay.
You just stop sharing and I'll just show you things. Yeah, now we'll see about declaration of variables, guys. Obviously, we have covered all this. I'll just go through things. Declaring a variable means what kind of data it will store. As I said, whether you want to store integer, string, character, double, boolean type, what type of data you want to store. For that thing, we need to declare variables. It displays name, storage, locations. Okay, so for our naming conventions, we'll give that as a variable. That variable will store that particular value, whose value can be changed during the execution of the program. It is the basic unit of storage in a Java program. That is, variables are the basic unit of storage. The syntax, just look at the syntax. It just says what is the type of the variable and the variable name. That's it. And one more thing, if you remember, I had shown this. If your type remains same, if you want to declare 3 variables of type integer, let's say A, B, C, you can do that in one single line itself. You need not do type int a semicolon, go to next line, int b semicolon, go to next line, int c. You can avoid that and you can write it in one single line itself. Okay, whenever your type is same, you can declare multiple variables in one single line this way.
Okay, sir.
Okay, and an example here, you see, width is a variable and height is a variable. So we are both are of type int. So we are declaring it in one single line itself.
Yes.
And here with the declaration, we are doing one thing. What is it?
Fine.
So what are we doing? Are we only declaring or we are doing something?
We're giving a value.
Well,
We are giving a value.
What are we doing? With
We are
declaration.
giving with declaration value is assigned.
I told you one word, initialization.
Okay.
The word is present here itself. We are for width, we are not doing anything. We are just declaring. There is no value
Okay.
in width. But for height variable, we are initializing 5.
Yes.
That is what it means. Declaration is one thing, initialization is one. Just remember. Character, you see, you can be this letter is nothing but variable. The variable C, the variable letter will store this C. Float variables such as age, area. So those are just variable names. And initialization. Let us come back to initialization now. It means assigning a value to variables. What are we doing? We are assigning some value to that variable. That is called initialization. You can assign a value to variables in two ways. One is static, second is dynamic. Now, what do you mean by static? Static means the memory is determined for variables when the program starts. Matlab, when the program, we have predefined a value to that.
Yes.
At the start of the program itself, we have given some value. That is static. Dynamic means you can declare variables anywhere in the program. Okay, because when the statement is executed, the memory is assigned to them. Dynamic means that in Java, you can declare variables anywhere, but whenever you assign some value to it, only then the memory will be assigned. When you declare, memory will not be assigned. When you initialize, value will be assigned. Okay, we'll cover up that. Here you see, width is 10, age is 26.5. What we are doing, we are assigning value 10 to this variable width. Just carefully listen what my words are. I'm assigning value 10 to this variable width. I'm assigning value 26.5 to the variable age. Okay, that is what initialization is. There's one diagram you can see here. What is this int? It is type, right? A, B. This part is declaration statement. We are not initializing it, right? Then next we are initializing A to 123
Variable.
and B to 45. So A and B are variable names, and these are this is assignment statement also. Assignment operators you saw, right? Assigning any value to some variable, that is assigning operators. And here you see int C is equal to A plus B. It can be your compound statement, this one. C, int C is equal to A plus B. Inline initialization statement, it says, okay, that can be a compound exercise, a compound statement. And this here, there's a tooltip. What does it say? The variable name needs to be chosen by the programmer in a meaningful way so that it reflects what it is representing a program. This is called good programming. So what do you want to do? Whenever you declare a variable, it should have some meaning. Whatever you're performing the task, what task you're performing, it should be relevant to that. Okay. Let's say, what am I doing here? A plus B, what am I doing? I'm summing A plus B. So instead of having C, it will give more meaning, right? If I write int sum is equal to A plus B.
Sum is equal to.
So sum will give more meaning. It will mean like, okay, this is sum or this is addition of A plus B. So that way, a programmer should decide what name to be given to what variable so that it will give good meaning. We need to take care of that. And about declaring variables, as I said, let us cover these rules. Okay. And before going to that, I'll just explain the scope of the variables. I told you, right, about scopes of the variables. Local variables, and global variables.
Instant.
Instance variable is a non-static variable that is declared within the class but not in a method. It is called instance variable that is declared within the method. A local variable is the variable that you declare inside a method, not class, inside a method. Okay, that is local. Instance variable or global variable. You can use any word, instance variable or local variable. It is not declared inside method. It will be declared inside a class, and that variable can be used throughout your class. Okay, I'll explain that. But not in the method. And these are related to specific object. They can access class variables, and then class or static variables. A variable that is declared with static keyword is a class, but not in the method is called static. A variable that is declared with static keyword in a class, but not in a method is called static or class variable. Okay, we'll cover this. Before that, let me just cover this. How do you, the naming convention for declaring variables. I'll just stop the screen now. Sudha, if you can share your screen and give me the control. Okay, so let me just remove these things. I'll put in a multi-line comment. Paste. Okay, give me the control. You guys are understanding, right?
Yes, sir.
You just copy that content from the chat and paste here now. I'm not able to do that.
Okay.
Just go to the chat, copy that latest message.
This one?
The latest message from the meeting chat itself.
Yes, sir. Variable name case sensitive.
Yeah, just copy that and paste it here. Okay, thank you. So these are very important things you need to remember. Okay, now let us cover these things here. The first point, it says a variable name can consist of capital letters, small letters, digits, and only 2 special characters. Now, let's say I want to declare an integer variable. Okay, so type is int, and I'll give it the name as int num1. Does it give me any error? No, right? This is accepted. Why? And just see the second point. The first character must be a letter. Okay, we have that. And see, you can give small letters, you can give capital letters, you can give digits. It can be a mix-up of digits. It's accepted. You can use underscore here, underscore 00 or ABCD, whatever you give. Okay, it will accept it. And you can also have a dollar symbol. It is accepted. It does not give you error.
Yes.
Okay, this is what it means by first thing. Second thing, for second rule, the first character must be a letter. Now here in the same, this is accepted. If I insert any letter here, number here, it gives error. Cannot resolve single because one is not accepted. If I give an underscore, it still takes. The first character must be a letter. It takes underscore, but it is not convenient to use it. What if I give dollar symbol? It is accepting it. Next, blank spaces are not allowed. If I say num space 1, it won't take this.
Showing error.
I cannot give a space between these two characters. Okay, so you just
Okay.
need to remember. I cannot say n u space and then m. I cannot use this. That is what it means. You cannot use blank spaces. Third is Java keywords cannot be used. See, this public is a keyword. Class is a keyword. Again, public, static, all these are keywords. I cannot use them in declaring variables. If I write public here, it is showing error here.
Yes.
Identifier expected. Right.
Okay.
I cannot use static. It again throws error. I cannot use same int. Is this int itself is a it's a preserved keyword. I cannot use that. Okay, that is what it means. Any keyword. This string is also a keyword. I cannot use that. Variable string is okay. String it is taking. The yellow words, whatever is mentioned in yellow now, you cannot just use that. If I say float, see float is preserved data type keyword, right? I cannot use that. In for loops, we use for, right? For in loops, we use for keyword. That is also a keyword. We cannot use that. We have if in our statements. We cannot use that. We have else. We cannot use that. So what it means is you cannot use the preserved keywords. The Java keywords cannot be used to declare variables. That's it. Okay. Next is variable names are case sensitive, meaning I declare this as num. Okay. I'll declare one more variable. I'll declare
In
one
the program, if we are using num, we have to use the same small case NUM.
See, case sensitive matlab if I'm using num and if I declare any other like nu, two letters are same. I'm just making m as capital. So this is a different number.
Okay.
Okay, let's say I don't have this. I do yes out, that is sysout. In sysout, I want to print value of num, but variable name I gave it as capital M. Num and num both are same, right? But if I give capital M, it says cannot resolve. But matlab this variable is not present. That is what it means by
It
case
doesn't
sensitive.
know. Okay.
It means case sensitive.
Okay.
And also, I can declare one more variable here as nu capital M. Capital N, okay, let us not use capital at the first number. I'll say N, capital U, small m. I'll have small, capital M. See, all these are, when we read, it is all just num, and num. But all these are different variables. That is what it means by case sensitive. Got it? Okay, so I hope these things are clear, right? Naming convention is clear.
Yes, okay.
Okay. Now you keep sharing the screen. I'll just give up the control and come back. Next thing is we have scope. As I said, local variable scope. Okay, let me just tell that also. Yeah, just give me the control now. Now, as I said, there is scope of variables. Scope of variable. Scope matlab what is the limit or what is the area wherein you can use your that particular variable can be used. Okay, the scope of this class, what is the scope of this class? The scope of this class is between these two parentheses. Okay. Matlab, what is the start and end? Where is the start and end of this class? That is, it is defined by this open and close curly braces. So this is the scope of this class. What is the scope of this main method? The scope of this main method is defined by these open and curly brace brackets. So whatever you write inside this these two curly braces, it will fall under this main method. For that, we call it as scope. Okay. Scope of variables. Okay. So one is local variable, instance variables, local variable, instance variable, and you have your class variables. So what do you mean by local variable? Let's say I'll just come out of this main method. Okay, I'm coming out of the main method, not out of the class. Okay, I'm inside the class itself. I'll write one method, public static. Static means I need not create the object of this class to use this method. Okay, remember what I'm telling. Static, whenever I use, I did not create the object of this class to run this method. That is whatever method I'm writing now. Public static. Let's say I write add. Okay. Public static. It shows error. I'm missing the return type. That is, let's say I will write void. And I'm declaring two variables here. Int a is equal to 5. Int b is equal to 10. Okay. And I say int sum is equal to a plus b. Okay. And I can write this complete statement. Okay. Let me just do yes out. See how I'm doing this yes out thing. Shortcut for writing system.out.println. Just write yes out and hit control and space. Control and space. It will show you this thing. Okay. And you click on this yes out. You just hit enter and your method will be present. You can just write in double quote. You can write a message called like sum is come out of the quotes and write the variable that is storing this sum. That is sum.
So will you please remove that chat thing?
Sorry?
Some meeting chat on pop out is there. Can you remove that?
Meeting chat. I did not get what you're telling. What you're trying.
There's one pop out on the screen where I copied that meeting chat thing.
Acha, you need to close that. I don't see that here.
Okay.
In the screen, it isn't really visible.
Okay.
Done. Is it done?
No, sir, it is there still. I'm not able to close it.
Okay. I'll just give you the control. You close that and let me know.
Okay.
Okay. You have the control. You just.
Yes, I closed it.
Okay. Just give me the control.
Okay.
So now, see, I'm writing public static void and I'm writing add method here, right? So let me tell you what is the use of using static. Here inside the main method, I want to call this add. So I'll only write add, open close bracket, I'll put colon. It gives me no error, right? And if I run the if I run this class, that is if I run the main method, I'm running this main method. Yeah, this class main method I will be running. So it will take this add It will go inside this, it will do summation, it will print me this number. Let me just do that. So the expected output sum is 15. So it worked fine, right? Now let's say I just remove this static keyword. Do you see an error in line number 5?
Yes, add.
Here, help. File. Let us change file to change the theme. File. Settings. Appearance, theme, Dracula. Intelligent. This should be fine, right?
Better.
Okay. It gives an error. Let us see what it means. What just read that out. What does it say? It says non-static method add cannot be referenced from a static context. Okay. So what that error means is, whenever you want to access a method, there are two ways. One is static way, one is non-static way. When you declare any variable or any method as static, so at that time you need not create the object of that class. Now I am not using static keyword, but I want to run this add method. So for that I need to do one more step. I need to create an object of this class. What do I need to do? I need to create object of this class. Data types is equal to new keyword and data types. Okay. And next, in the next line, what I will do? I will use this object. I will use this object, data types, and when I hit dot, when I write a dot, see, it will give me all the methods. I see that add method here, right?
Yes, yes.
Now I can use the add method. So the difference in using static and non-static is, whenever I use static, I can avoid this step. What is this step called as? Creating an object of the class to access non-static variables and methods. Okay. Creating an object of the class to access non-static variables and methods. Now this method is non-static method, right?
Yes.
We are now written static here. It is non-static method. For that reason, we need to create an object of this class using that object and this dot operator. You see this dot in the center?
Yes, yes.
So using that object and saying dot operator, we can access this method.
Okay.
And if I don't want to do that, let's say I don't want to write the static, like I don't want to create the object. At that time, what I can do, let me create one more method. I'll say public. I will say static. I'll say void. I'll say multiply. Okay. And inside, I will use this same thing here. I'll say instead of sum, I will say MUL. And instead of plus, I will use star operator. And I will say multiply. I say multiplication is. Okay. Now this particular method is the static method. If I want to use this method, I'll just simply say MUL open close bracket colon. Do I get any error?
No.
No, right? So why? Because This is a static method and my main method is also static.
Static.
Since
Yes.
both methods are static, I did not need to create the object.
Okay.
Not required
Right.
to
Create an object.
create an object of the class to access static
variable.
variables,
and
static variables or methods.
Methods.
method.
Clear, right?
Yes.
The
Yes, sir.
difference between, there are two ways you can access. One way is by creating an object and use that object name and a dot property, or you
Yes.
can just simply directly use the method, but the condition is you should have it as
Right.
static.
Static. Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so clear, right? Static, now you
Yes, sir.
understand what
Yes.
static means.
Yes.
So this is one thing. Now, yeah, we were discussing about local variables and instance variable. Now, what you see here inside this method, these are called local variables. Okay.
Okay.
So local variables is any variable that you declare inside a method.
Okay.
Any variable that you declare inside a method.
Method. Okay.
Okay. That is called
Local
local
variable.
variable. Am I spelling the variable spelling is wrong?
BRIA.
RIA.
BLE.
BLE, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So any variable that you declare inside a method, that is local variable. An instance variable is you declare, but you don't initialize, and you can initialize it anywhere. Third is class variable. Let me just, instead of going into this, I'll say global variable. Okay.
Okay.
Any variable that you declare inside a class, but not inside a method, that is called a global variable. Now, what is the scope of my class? The scope of my class is starting from this curly brace to ending of this curly brace.
Yes.
So from starting open curly brace and closing curly brace of this class, I can declare a variable outside the methods. How many methods I have? I have one main method, I have one add method, I have null method.
Oh,
See,
yes.
I'm repeatedly using this int a and int b, right?
Yes.
This integer a and integer b, the scope of these two variables is inside these two curly braces. That
Oh.
is, the scope of variable a and scope of variable b and also scope of variable sum is inside these two curly braces, that is inside this method.
Okay.
So here a, b and sum are local variables of add method.
Okay.
Let me just write that. Here, you're understanding, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Well, a, b and
Some
sum are
local variable.
local
Variable.
variables of
Method.
add. Clear, right?
Yes.
And even here it's same. A, B and
Mul.
variable mul are local variables of method.
Method mul.
Okay, these are local variables.
Yes.
And okay, so these are local, and this, but okay, let me just read. tell this. Let me make this as C, D, so that I'll just tell you one difference here. C and D. Okay. Now AB is the scope for AB sum is this add method, and the scope for CD mul is this particular mul method. I cannot access these variables outside the method. That is what it means by local variables. Okay. Cannot access outside the method. Any variable that you declare inside a method also cannot access outside method. Okay. That is what. Now let's suppose I want to use the variable A as, I'll say, C plus D, and just remove this. Why it shows D? Why it is showing D error? It is giving some error for D. Why? Because declaration is itself in the next line, but above I am trying to use that, so that is wrong. So somewhere here, let me just do that. It is giving error on A. Why? Cannot resolve symbol A. It shows me you need to create that local variable, right? Because A is not present inside this mul. So what it means is a local variable cannot be used outside that particular method. Clear? So this is about local variable. Next are global variables. See, instead of, since I am using int A, B, again here 5, 10, 5, 10, same numbers I am using, what I can do inside this class, but not inside any method, inside this class, I will declare two variables. Int A, I will assign it to 5. I'll declare B, I will assign it to 10, and I'll just put a colon. And instead of declaring local variables, okay, just remove this. It is not giving error, right? You see?
Yes.
I'm using A plus B, but it is not giving any error.
Yes.
Here I will use A star B. Just here it is showing error. Why? Here it is not giving error, but here it is giving error. It comes down to this variable that we are using. That is why static is very important.
Okay.
Since the method is static, for that the members, the variable should also be static. Now what I have declared here, have I declared static?
No.
No, right? I've just declared integer. I've not declared it as static.
Static.
For that reason, it shows AB. I'll just remove this static keyword. See, the error is gone.
Yes.
Here it shows error. Why? Because I need to create this. But when I use data types dot one, error is gone. Right?
Okay. Yes.
So that is the beauty of using your static keyword. So
okay.
What I'll do, I'll just undo. And undo.
Static.
Let us have static. A and B. Okay.
Error.
So instead of using
We
A,
need to
I need to make it as static. I'll say
static.
int. Let us see if I get.
Static. What?
Okay.
There is error.
Static should come at the beginning.
Okay.
And if I say public here, before static, if I mention public, I can use these variables outside this class also. For the time being, let us just have static int as5 b as 10. There is no error, right? Okay. I can use it in non-static method. I can use it in static method also.
Okay.
Okay. So what I am doing, say this int sum int mul, I am declaring int here. Sum is local. Now A and B are not local variables. It's only sum. And here mul mul is local variable.
Yes.
And what I have declared here, these are nothing but your global variables. Here A and B are global variables, and these can be used throughout your class.
Yes.
Throughout the class. Okay. See, I have declared here in the beginning, but I am using it in various
Yes.
places.
Yes.
Now
Yes.
I can
Okay,
also
sir.
override them. Here I have assigned a plus b.
Okay.
Now here, just before calling this add method, what I will do, I will change the a value. I will write it as a is equal to 10.
Okay.
Now, according to my program, what should add method return? Sum should be 5 plus 10, 50.
A plus 10, 50.
Multiplication should be 10 into 5, 50.
50.
Yes.
But if we see the output, it will be slightly different.
120.
Sum gives 20, sum is giving me 20, and multiplication is giving me
Because A is
100.
equal to
Why?
10.
Yeah, see, I
Okay.
was able to change the
Initial is
value.
10.
I was
Yes.
able to change the value. Initially, I've written 5 and 10,
5. Okay.
but I was able to alter its value. So
Okay.
that is the use of using global variables.
Global variables.
Okay.
Static, if I write int int a is equal to 5 here, I cannot make that 5 as 10 in some other place outside the method.
Okay.
So that is the beauty of using global variables.
Global variable.
So everything has its pros and cons. At
Okay.
some places we need to use global variables. At some places we need to use local variables.
Local variable.
Okay. Here, see, for some we needed to use local variable. We
Yes.
can also
Okay.
do it outside. Here itself we can just declare that sum and multiplication variables here itself, and just remove this int, remove this one. Still it will work. We
Yes.
are only using global variables.
Yes.
So either way it works fine. It all depends upon us how we write.
Exactly. Okay.
So do you feel Java is a bit complicated, or do you feel like no, we just thought it is too very difficult, complex syntax, but when you try and understand things, does it
It's
make
very
you feel
easy.
like it's very easy?
Yes.
Right?
We need practice.
Yeah. See, now in these few initial classes, I'm telling you about all the basic things, right?
Yes.
Actually, in your leisure time, in your free time, you can just alter
Explain.
these methods, and you can write your own methods. I have written method for add. You can write it for subtraction. You can
Okay.
write it for adding many numbers. Instead of 2 variables, you can write 3 variables.
Okay.
For subtraction, you can write. For division, you can write. Right? You can do anything. So this is just for your understanding how the basic things.
Okay.
So you now know what this static, like global and local variables,
Global.
right?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Now, if I don't want to allow the programmer or to the programmer to not alter the value
Value.
of some
Okay.
variable. I want it to remain constant. I want it to be fixed. There are two
Okay.
ways. One is you can declare it as constant.
Okay.
What you can do, you can just say, you can use, you see, you can use a constant variable. I just entered
Fine.
Const.
CON.
Private static.
I
Okay.
just told CON. It shows define int constant.
Define and its style. Okay.
So when I say constant, it says
Private static final.
static final. The word final means you cannot change the
Value.
value.
Okay.
And this placeholder is to write the variable name. Just
Okay.
we have pi,
Pi.
right? So what is the value of pi? Value of pi is fixed,
3.1.
right? Why does it show me error? I'm writing int, but
Int is
it is double.
it's a double S.
So I need to change the type. I write it as double,
Double pi.
right? And
Okay.
private means I cannot access this outside of the class.
Okay.
Okay.
The scope is only in the scope of this variable pi is only inside this class. I cannot use it outside of this class. That is
Yes.
what it means by private. Public,
Okay.
you can use it outside also. And final means you cannot alter this value. Let's say I'm printing this pi value somewhere here. Okay, I'll say yes out, and I'll say value of
Of
pi
pi
and outside I need to add plus operator, and I need to write the variable name. Right.
It's error.
Okay, sir.
Oh no.
So when I run this, along with other things, it gives me value of pi also, right?
Yes.
Value of pi is 3.4. Now let's suppose I want to, just before printing, I want to change the value. I want to update pi value. How do I do that? I'll write pi is equal to, I'll say pi, matlab whatever value I've assigned to it, that is 3.14 plus 1. I'm just adding 1 to that 3.14. Does it allow me to do that? Just
No, it is not.
Error.
gives me error. Cannot assign a value to final variable
Final variable. Okay.
because you have already defined it as final. Matlab you cannot change the value. You
Yes.
cannot alter it. It will remain constant throughout your program. So some variables in writing your program, you may need to declare a few variables as such, right?
Final. Okay.
For that reason, you can always use this final keyword.
Okay.
You understood about final keyword also, right?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
So I cannot do this. It will remain constant. I think most of the things we have covered, guys.
Yes.
Let us just cover a few examples on Boolean and finish this.
Okay.
Let's suppose I have one Boolean variable. Okay, I'll say, I'll declare a global variable, static, type is Boolean,
Flag.
is greater. Okay, I've just declared, I'm not initializing it to anything. I'm just telling is greater. Now, here, I will just, if I don't want this to be executed, I'll just put one comment before this. It will become comment. If you want to remove, you just remove those columns, okay, slashes. Let us just comment for time being.
Okay.
I'll just comment this. Now, let's say I want to use that is variable, that is Boolean variable. I'll say I'm assigning is greater to, I will use this variable. I'll print its value by assigning it to a greater than b. A greater than b.
Yes.
What does it say? Okay. Let me just run this. Let us see what it is giving me.
False.
False value. What the compiler is doing is, it is first performing this a greater than b, and it is storing that value in this Boolean value.
Yes.
So a greater than b will return me either true or false.
Yes.
Okay, I'm using that return value here. Return word. You remember I told you we'll be using frequently, we'll use that return word.
Yes.
Yes.
So when I say a greater than b, it will return me either true or false. What is a? 5. 5 greater than 10. Is it true?
No.
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 So it will return me false. That false value it will store in greater, is greater.
Yes.
So is greater value is false.
False.
So also what I can do is I'll just write one if statement. If you remember, we used if statements in our algorithms.
Rhythms.
So I'll say if a greater than b,
B.
just print one statement. If a is greater,
Hi, Adna. Hello.
yeah.
I have one doubt. Boolean is
Yeah.
0, 1. No, it mentions 0 or 1.
See,
Here it-
0 and 1, that is for machine. For
Okay.
machine understanding, it is 0 and 1. For us, it is the true or false.
True or false.
Yeah, but your returning is greater.
what I'm telling, true or false, no?
See, your 0 is false, 1 is true.
Yeah,
Now
but
A
you're
greater than B. Yeah, so what is A? 5. Is 5 greater than 10?
okay.
No, right? 5 is not greater than 10. So it will return me false value.
We are asking Boolean should be true or false. That's all. Why is it is greater?
See, this is variable name. This is
Yes,
not
that's
value.
what
It is
that's
not
what she
value I am
asked.
assigning. See, if I want to assign it, I cannot write 0 here. I cannot write 0 or 1. Boolean is either true or false. I'll define it as, or initialize it to false. Okay.
Okay.
Initially, I've assigned it to false. I will make is greater to true only when my A is greater than B. When my A is greater than B, what I will do? I will make this as true. Okay. And I will print that value. And that is, I will print is greater. Okay.
Okay.
So now, what do you expect the output to be? I'll run my main method. The control will come to this statement. It will see A greater than B. Is A greater than B? 5 greater than 10? No. If it says no, it will never come inside this curly braces. That is, this curly braces, when the control will come inside this curly braces only and only if this condition is true. If and only this condition is true. If this condition is false, we will never come inside this statement. Okay. So if this is okay, let me print this outside. If A is greater, I will just make that as true, or else it will by default it will be false itself. So we will just try. Okay, we'll just try changing the variable names. Let me just run this now.
Okay.
It says false. Why? Because A is not greater than B.
Yes.
If I make this A as 15, okay, and if I run it,
It's true.
it gives true. Why? Because
Because A
this
is greater.
condition is true, it will come inside. Initially, I declared this as false, but it will change it to true, and when it prints, it will print me true value.
True value.
Now, what you can do is you can write a method to compare two variables. Okay, first variable and second variable. If first variable is greater than the second variable, you print that value.
Okay.
Matlab, this condition you can put inside one method itself. You can try that.
Okay.
High level, I will just write that here. Public
Okay.
static
One.
void. I'll write is greater. Method name I will write it as is greater.
Okay.
Okay. I'll open close curly braces. So this is my method. So this method I will be passing two parameters. This is some other topic. You can pass parameter. You can pass parameters to method also. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll write say int num1. I will say int num2. I'm passing two numbers to this method. Here I will check if this condition itself. I'll just place this condition here. You understanding?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes.
I'll say if num1 is greater than num2.
Num2.
Okay, I'll say I'll not use this greater thing. I'll just print some message. If num1 is greater than num2, I'll say num1 plus, I'll write some message is greater. Okay, I'll print this message. See, now we have only two conditions. Either num1 can be greater than num2 or num2 can be greater than num1, right?
Yes.
So the other way around, if it does not go inside that, the other thing is I can just simply copy this and I can say if num1 is not greater than num2, what is the other way around?
Num2.
Num2. Num2 is greater. The vice versa. Like if that is not true, then obviously this should be true. Out of two numbers, any one number should be greater.
Greater.
Now let us just use this method inside our main method. Okay. How do I use? I'll just say is greater. I'll open close brackets. It is giving error. Why? I need to pass parameters. Okay. This is next one more concept by passing parameters. I need to pass two parameters here of type integer. I'll say let 5 comma I'll pass 10. Okay, let me just run this. What do you expect the answer to be?
10 is greater.
10 is greater, right? Because num2, that is 10 is greater. You write 15.
No.
Num1
It gives me 15. Now it came here. Num1 was 15, num2 was 10. 15 greater than 10, yes, it will go inside. It will execute this. That's it. This is conditional statements, if-else statements. Either if will be executed or else will be executed. That is what it means by if-else statement.
Okay.
Either if or else. Either of any of these two will be, not both will be executed. Any one will be executed. Okay, based on the condition. So this condition is a Boolean condition. It returns either true or false, right?
Yes.
Num1 greater than num2, it will return either true or false. So I hope this much is clear, right? I have just started with if conditions. In
Yes,
next
sir.
classes, we'll just continue with the if-else statements. All the other things, it's saved here itself. I've just commented things. You can just uncomment. And others, if you want to try, you can just see. Maybe tomorrow the video will be uploaded. You can just see the video and you can try and execute things, or you can try any other methods. Just like I've written is greater. You can write it for is lesser. If it is lesser, print some value. You can just play
Pass
around
by
with the code.
Hi Adnan. You have pass by value have used. Pass by reference, which one we have to represent?
See, this is we are passing parameters.
Yeah, pass by value. You have given 15 and 10. A reference? For reference, another one is there, no? Pass by reference.
Yeah. See, reference is there is some value present and you are referring to that particular object. You use pass by value and pass by reference mostly in C++, right? Here in object-oriented programming, we don't use that much because in C we have pointers. So for pointers, we use reference pass by reference part. Okay.
Here we are not using Java.
This is neither pass by value. It is neither pass by reference. It is just we have two parameters to this method, and we are passing those numbers. Reference is maybe you can call some method here. See what I'll do. I'll just call add method here.
Yeah, that's what this is the.
I'll pass some variables here. Achha, there is no variable. It has a plus b. Let me just uncomment a plus b. Okay, I have a plus b there, but this is not started. I'll just make this started for now. Required type is int. It is written. Okay, let me just return int here. Okay, this method will be returning an int variable. I'll cover this in next videos for just your
Okay, sure.
I'll return sum here. Okay, so here what I am doing inside a method, I am calling one more method, and also this is also not pass by reference thing. Okay. There's a theoretical concept. Maybe next class I'll just cover those things also. I'll see if there's something I'll have to mention. I'll tell that also. Now what this will do, it will first call this add method. Add method will add 5 and 10, 15 and 10, 25, and then it will compare 25 greater than 10. In that way it will work. Okay. So you can just play around things just to know what things are what. Declaration, initialization, local, global variables, using static. When you don't use void, what will happen? When you don't use static, how it will behave? When you use public, private, how it will behave? You can just play around things until then. Just give back the control and let us see what things we have covered today. The session went too long. Okay, I'm sorry for that. Okay, we just went through these things. Next, we have access control modifier. See, even we have covered this also, right? Access control modifier is nothing but how do you access it? By public, by mentioning it as public, protected, and private, right? When I say I have not mentioned anything here, no public, no private, nothing. So this is non-access modifier. 5 non-access modifiers available in Java. A modifier to analyzing the implementation classes, methods, and variables. Final is a non-access modifier. Okay, so then modifier to create class methods and variables. Class programming modifier to create class methods and variables as static. Display static is a modifier.
So should I stop your screen sharing?
Oh, haven't you start? Okay. Stop your screen sharing. Very sorry, guys. I thought I'm sharing my screen and I'm just explaining things. See, we did cover conditional operators, instance, data types, variables, and we are here in modifiers. In modifiers, I have also covered this, right? You need not worry. Public and protected. Scope is visible to world. Matlab, anywhere you can access that thing. Protected only inside the package. Private only. Scope is restricted only to that class. Outside that class, you cannot use whenever you mention private to member or to a variable or to a method. Anything. If you mention private, you cannot use it outside any classes. You are restricting. Those are called modifiers. Okay. Next, what do we have? We have numbers. This part also we have covered. Integer, float, right? Wrapper class. I talked about implicit and explicit things, right? So this is what it talks about wrapper. Auto boxing and unboxing. Integer G as 6. G is equal to G minus 2. Auto boxing of the int to int.
Sir.
Yeah.
So shall we continue the class tomorrow?
Yeah, we can do that. I'm just going through what are the things I need to cover in next class. It talks about methods. We have jump numbers, methods, Java characters, arrays. Okay. These arrays are your non-primitive data types. Once we are done with this, we have flow controls, if statement, if else statements, decision controls, loop controls. Yeah, we can take this in coming future classes. I'll just stop sharing this. Okay. We'll end the session now. I know it took too much time, but I hope it was useful. We covered a lot of basic stuffs, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, guys. We'll just
thank you, sir.
Okay. See you in the next class. Once again.
Thank you, sir.
हो सर अभी भी